party folks, we're back on the Zoom with happiness coach Alain Lager. Welcome, sir.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And let's put some of that happiness on the couch. 1, 2, 3.
Wow! Oh, you got it, huh?
I got it.
Yes.
I got it. I'm a quick learner. I'm a quick
Happiness
learner.
I know.
Now-
happy shining people.
I've gotten to know this guy through a group of friends. He's also one of the people that I've gone to Burning Man with.
Wow.
He's part of probably the prettiest spiritual community on this side of the country. And
Yeah, you're a
Might be right,
Give me
actually.
some of that.
And you know, in talking to him, he has all these amazing things to say about balancing one's life, balancing the masculine and the feminine, and finding that happiness. And I also found out that he used to be a police officer.
Oh,
You've gone to
yes.
Latin America. You've done
Can you
work.
handcuff me?
Oh,
I didn't bring my hand.
I don't think you're his type,
Getting
Dennis.
started. Okay, tell us about yourself. then. How
What
did
is
you
a
start?
happiness coach, and what are you coaching?
Okay, so what is a happiness coach? Well, I think that, well, we have to track back a little bit. I started my journey in Holland, in Amsterdam. I'm originally from Amsterdam.
Okay.
And when I was 16 years old, I became a police officer.
That's really young.
Yeah,
That's
it's
how young
really,
they start
really,
over there?
really, really young. Well, actually, you can start at 17 normally.
Okay.
I started a job in the police station at 16.
Okay.
Then went to the academy, came out when I was 17, and had like 7.5 years of pretty intense journeying as a police officer in the streets, like seeing a lot of different things, you know, going through a lot of different emotions with people. And after 7.5 years, I had some very traumatic experiences. I actually had a near-death experience that really changed everything for me and had me rethink whether I still wanted to be a police officer or not. I decided to resign. And there I was, like in my early 20s, after a whole career as a police officer, all these experiences, really not really knowing who I am without the uniform, without that job.
Where you were going.
Where I was going. So the reason why I became a happiness coach is because, you know, I myself was asking myself, what is happiness for me? And after seeing so many things in society that really weren't the prettiest things, you know, it kind of shapes you. You get to have a sneak peek behind the scenes of a beautiful city, Amsterdam, that I was born in, but you get to see it from a very different side, and you get to see people from a very different side, and you get to know yourself from a different side. So I think the whole happiness thing was born out of my own search for happiness. And the closer I got to that, the more I started to notice that people around me started to ask me for advice. They started to ask me, hey, you know, like I'm going through this thing, how would you handle that? And naturally it kind of grew into a practice until at some point my friends were like, you should start charging money for that because you spend a lot of time helping people.
Right.
So I started doing that, and you know, that was a whole journey in itself. I started to see that the thing that makes me happy most is serving others. Okay. That was the reason why I became a police officer in the first place. And you know, I found a different way to do that now by really diving deep with people and supporting them on their personal journey towards happiness.
Did you do this?
Go
Sorry,
ahead.
did you do this like with a certification or something like that, or is it coming just like from your own life experience? Because I know this life coaching thing. I don't want to say that it's trending,
Right.
but there's, you know, now you can go and study to be one. Now you can certify yourself to be one, whatever that certification means. I mean, I have no idea.
Yeah, so exactly.
But-
so
but
so
then, yeah.
so for me, I'm completely self-taught.
Okay.
It's a lot of here's a couple of beliefs that I have about that. Like you could have one teeth, but you could still graduate and become a dentist. Or you could be super unhealthy. Actually, doctors have the shortest life expectancy, but we go to them to consult for our health. And it's kind of, you know, for me personally, this is just my personal opinion, a diploma or a degree, you know, you may understand like a methodology,
Right.
But you can learn a lot of things from books if you were interested in diving a little deeper into that kind of structure. So the journeys that I do with people are very personal. You know, everyone's different. Everyone has a different experience. Everyone has different ideas about what is going to bring them happiness. We all have just a different programming and a unique gift and a unique talent. And for me, I work with my clients usually over a period of 3 months to really dive into what it is that they want to create in their life, or support them through like a difficult situation, or work on something very specific.
You also on your website too. It also says that, you know, you're understanding that different cultures might have different programmings to different
Oh, yeah.
individuals. Now, you've gone to Latin America, right?
Yes.
To work with police officers as well down there?
To work with entrepreneurs, students, children, and prisoners.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what are the things that you're dealing with when it comes to the culture down there that you need to break? What barriers do you need to break through to help them find their happiness?
So the interesting thing is that, I mean, having taught seminars and giving talks like all over the world, I started seeing that no matter where you're from, no matter what your cultural background is, we all have this one thing that really connects us. And that is that when you ask a person, no matter where they are, like, what do you think will make you happy? They'll have different ideas. Like here in the United States, you ask a person what will make you happy, they might say money. Exactly. Money, fame, and for Latin America that goes, right? But when you go to Africa, I traveled to Rwanda, and I asked children there, like, what would make you happiest? And their answer was to own a water bottle.
Wow.
And I asked them, what? And they said, yeah, the bottle that you have in your car, the empty water bottle. And I asked them, like, I don't understand. And they explained to me that their parents, their mom, has to walk every day 2 hours to get to a well to pump water. And that's all the water they have. She brings it back on like a stick. She walks it back to the village. And that means that the kids that live in that village, and Rwanda is in Africa, but it's kind of chilly because it's high altitude.
Right.
Those kids, if they want to go out and play, you can't go too far because you don't have any way to transport water.
Hydration.
You have to go all the way back to the village to hydrate yourself if there's enough water.
Right.
So the water to them represents like an independence. It's a freedom. So when I gifted them the water bottle, they put it like on their belt and they were like, look at me, I have portable water. Right? It's those little things we take for granted.
Yeah.
So it's different for everyone. But when you ask a person, what do you think would make you happiest? You'll receive one answer. But when you ask a person, what was the happiest moment in your life? That's where people start to give you very similar answers, no matter what their background, whether you're talking in a prison or you're talking to some of the wealthiest people, the answer to that always connects to the heart.
Right.
It is when my children were born,
Right.
when I got married, when I just spent time with like a pet. It's like a connection. It's like all about the heart ultimately.
Alain, we have to go now, but before we do,
Wow.
just one quick answer.
I love
What's something that we can work on for happiness? Just one
Releasing
concept.
fear.
Releasing fear.
Releasing fear.
We're gonna
And
release
we're
fear.
close like him.
Yeah, there you go. And where can people find you? Your website?
It's www.alainlager.com.